These are the legendary Beyerdynamic DT990 Pros, and I've been using these headphones for 2 months now, and I can easily say these are some of my favorite headphones that I currently own. And let me explain why. So let's briefly talk about the design of these headphones. In classic Beyerdynamic form, these have a nice retro design. Now, if you didn't know, the DT990s came out about more than 35 years ago now. I believe they originally came out back in 1988. So these are, well, they do have the legendary retro like status of something like maybe like Sennheiser's HD660s. Obviously those headphones are in a different class. But since these came out originally, it has mostly retained the same design. Obviously Beyerdynamic changed the color scheme, they added new colors, all sorts of limited editions. This one I have right here is like a limited edition model apparently, with these gray velvety ear cups, this great signature Beyerdynamic velvet ear cups, which are just so nice, so soft, and they just make these headphones way more premium for their price. And now, it is important to know that there are two variants of these headphones. There's the GT770s and the DT990s, which are the ones I have here. And the difference between the two models is that the GT770s are closed back. The GT990s are open back headphones, which means you do not get an enclosure behind the drivers. And this has several advantages. First of all, they are way more comfortable than your typical closed backs. Reason being is because airflow, there's room for airflow. Airflow can enter and exit the drivers, so you just don't feel much pressure when wearing these. And also you can hear your surroundings much better than in a typical closed backs. You don't have the same level of noise isolation, which can be a good thing if you're into that kind of things, but also not great if you do want some sound isolation. Now obviously by being open backs, the advantage is they do leak a lot of sound. So if you're listening to these in an environment where you are disturbing people, that's something you have to consider, that these are not headphones that you can just privately enjoy. You can disturb some people around you, because even at low volumes they do leak a bit of noise. Now for the DT990s, just probably as well like the 770s, there's also two different versions. There's the 80 ohm version and the 250 ohm version I have right here. Now the difference between the two is, well, the power resistance that these two have. Now with audio equipment and headphones in general, the higher the ohmage, the more power you need to drive them, which means you do need to rely on something like this. This right here is a Hugo Chord Electronics, very dirty one, a very dirty Chord Electronics Hugo TT2, and this is a dedicated preamp, headphone amp, and DAC for a computer. For headphones like these, you do need a dedicated amp. You cannot run these separately from your Mac laptop, since most modern Mac laptops, that, for example, my MacBook Pro, only can deliver up to 150 ohms. So it's 100 ohms short. And even something like a Scarlett 2i2 audio interface, well, that runs off from your laptop, so that also cannot provide enough power. It's only rated at 200 ohms. So if you're considering yourself getting the 250 ohm version, and I would recommend that you do, because it is typically considered that headphones with higher ohmage, higher resistance, will deliver more sound if powered properly. So that is something to consider, that if you do get these, you do need a dedicated amplifier to run these properly. But if you don't want to rely on an amp, you can get yourself the 80 ohm version, which the MacBook Pro, most mobile devices will have no problem running, but do keep in mind that you will potentially sacrifice some like sound quality enhancements that the 250 ohm versions might deliver. In terms of connectivity, you have this nice long like 2-meter coiled cable, which extends very far thanks to the fact that it's coiled, and you have a 6.2 millimeter connector, or is it a 4.5? I believe it's a 6.2 connector. That can, with an adapter that can be unscrewed, and you have a 3.5 millimeter underneath it. So it's good that Beyerdynamic gives you two connections. If you want to connect to a 3.5 millimeter interface, you have the option to do so as well. Now the cable unfortunately is not detachable, which I guess at this price point You can't really expect everything to be perfect, but it is something to keep in mind. You do have to be careful with the cable, because if that breaks, well, you're gonna have to get yourself a whole new pair. On the plus side, Beyerdynamic does give you warranty on these headphones, so do make sure to register these to get their 1 year or 2 year like warranty in case something does go wrong. Now let's talk about wear comfort. And again, this is an area, as I mentioned, where open backs shine, because these are easily the most comfortable headphones I own. For the fact that, first of all, by being open backs, they don't have any enclosures on the drivers, which means less weight. You don't have unnecessary material. Second of all, the fact that when you wear them, well, because airflow can enter the drivers, there's no pressure buildup on your ears, which just makes wearing these so comfortable for long listening sessions. You can easily wear these for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours and feel not fatigued at all. Compared to most closed back headphones, well, you can typically wear these at least for like 30 minutes, 1 hour max, and then you're just gonna want to take them off. These, especially for music producers who, you know, wear headphones for a long periods of time, these are a great choice for long-term listening, I guess, if you want to call it that way. And the fact that also, plus you have this nice soft leather headband, it's just soft on your head. The clamp force is not that strong, so again, doesn't put too much pressure on the sides of your head. It's just a nice pair of comfortable, light headphones. So bonus points for Beyerdynamic. These are very, very comfortable headphones. And now let's talk about the main party trick, the main topic with all audio equipment, the sound quality. How do they sound? Well, as I said, if paired with a dedicated amplifier, in my case it's the Horde Electronics Hugo TT2, that's obviously connected to my computer. I like to listen to Tidal, because Tidal is the best streaming service when it comes to bitrate and sound quality, etc. But I do like to occasionally use Apple Music as well for Dolby Atmos content, as Tidal does not support Dolby Atmos on their desktop version yet. And right off the box, the main feature, the main attribute about these headphones that jumped out to me is the soundstage, which again is a hallmark of open back headphones. The spatialness, the spatial audio, as Apple likes to call it, that you have with these headphones is amazing. It's fantastic, especially if you're like listening to watching movies. You know, these are a great pair of headphones for watching movies or playing video games. You know, you want to enhance your gaming audio experience, these are great for that, just because for the simple fact that because you have all this space, all the, you know, room for the drivers to produce sound without the enclosure being there, it allows the sound to travel in all sorts of directions, giving you great instrument separation and just allowing you to listen to all sorts of sounds and music from different directions. For example, I can hear all sorts of layers of music, like drums being played on my left ear, like at a different layer compared to like something like a bass guitar or something. It's basically like being literally at a concert hall, at a live concert hall. The surroundness, the surround sound that these headphones give you is honestly fantastic. It's nothing like I've ever heard of out of my headphone collection. And yeah, that's one huge advantage with open backs. However, that huge disadvantage with open backs, well, not really in my case, to be honest, but for you, lack of bass. Because these are open, there's no enclosure, they're not tight, they're not airtight. Therefore, the drivers cannot produce bass, which is what it needs, because the bass will just escape through the open air vents. However, that can be fixed with an EQ. I have a SonarWorks Sound ID reference EQ installed on my computer, which is like a paid software you have to pay for, but I think it's definitely well worth it if you want to customize your headphones to your desired sound profile. I like to listen to my headphones warm. I like to have less high frequencies and more bass. And when you do up the bass, these have nice, relatively nice warm bass. Not the most detailed, like you're not going to be able to get detailed bass, but it's there. It does enhance the music listening experience a bit, but don't expect these to sound like wow bass. Like these don't have the solid punchy bass that closed backs will be able to provide. So that is something to keep in mind if you're considering these. These are more for mid to high frequency tailored sounds. And I do notice that the Beyerdynamic DT990s out of the box are very bright in the high frequency range. They tend to be very optimistic in the high frequencies, which I can understand why, since these are studio monitoring headphones. These are made for audio producers to make music, to, record audio and all sorts of that stuff. I'm not an audio producer. I don't make music. I just bought these to listen to music. And even though it is nice to have high frequencies for detail, for long-term listening, it is fatiguing. All the tiny sounds that you hear, it can be a bit tiring on your ears for long-term listening, which is why I like to dial them down a bit. Plus the fact that it can also cause a bit of hearing damage as well, if you like to listen to your music loudly. But by dialing down high frequencies and upping the bass, I was able to get my desired sound profile, and I can say that I'm very happy with these. These are, again, easily my favorite headphones when it comes to listening to music. I would pick these any day out of all of my headphones collection. These are my first pair of open backs, and I'm honestly glad that I went with these over the DT770s, which are a bit cheaper, but I think the open back is definitely well worth the extra price over the closed backs, thanks to the fact that the soundstage that they provide is just amazing. It's nothing like I've ever heard of. That brings us on to the price. How much do these cost? Well, if you go online, you'll be able to find them at a different price ranges. They can start from about £100 all the way up to £160, depending from which retailer you buy them from. Now, there are also different colors available. There's like all blacks and all sorts of limited editions. I have this like limited edition model apparently, and these set me back about £150. And for £150, I think these are best value headphones you can buy, considering the sound quality these provide. I can see why a lot of people go for these. Genuinely, these are very popular headphones amongst like music producers, because Beyerdynamic is known for producing some of the best headphones out there. The German engineering that goes behind them. And the DT990s have this, long legacy of just being the best in its class. It really has no competitors, if you think about it. And yeah, I can say without a doubt, these really do tuck up to their legacy of being great set of headphones for their price point. So I guess the only issues that I've encountered with these headphones, again, three issues really. The velvety ear cups, I'm not sure about the long-term wear on these, and I don't think they're replaceable. They might be, I'm not sure. But long-term, the velvet ear cups might show some wear and tear compared to leather ear cups. But still, like, I'd rather have these any day over leather ear cups just because of how nice and soft they are. Also, the detachable cable, the fact that the cable is not detachable, that you need to be careful with that. And the fact that out of the box, the headphones are a bit bright, but you might like that. I'm not really a fan of that. As I said, get yourself an EQ software and tune these to your desired sound profile, and you'll be able to get a lot out of these headphones. So yeah, in conclusion, the Beyerdynamic DT990s I think are well worth their price. If you're looking for a nice pair of cheap, great sounding headphones, not even great, fantastic sounding headphones, the Beyerdynamic DT990s are a great choice. You will not be disappointed with these. Just make sure to get the right version. Obviously, if you get the 250 ohm version, do get yourself a dedicated amp, because you're gonna need one of these to get the full potential out of these. Otherwise, if you want to use them for simpler use cases, you can get yourself the 18 ohm version. It is cheaper than the 250 ohm version. And in fact, if you're looking for some new Beyerdynamic headphones, Beyerdynamic has actually released new models recently. Like a week ago, they announced the new 1770s Mark II and the 1990 Pro Mark IIs. These are higher class. They're higher in the model range than the 770s and the 990s. So you're going to have to spend a bit more for those, but they probably provide even better sound quality than these do. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If you want a new pair of Beyerdynamic headphones, do check out their new 1770s and 1990s. But other than that, Beyerdynamic DT990s, great pair of headphones, comfortable, light, awesome, fantastic, exceptional sound, and just an all-around great pair of headphones. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you again in the next video.